How to your brain. Right now, your brain is lying to you every single day. It's wired to keep you stuck in self-doubt, fear, and limitation. And until you understand how to reprogram it, nothing will work for you. So in this video, I'm gonna be breaking down the biology behind your brain, the science of how it works, and how to fix your mental wiring so that you can actually create the life that you want. The first topic that I wanna touch on in this video is internal programming. Most of what controls your life isn't conscious. It's pre-programmed deep into your mind. So it's not actually you in control, it's the programs, beliefs, and patterns that you've developed over the years, all the way from childhood. And the ways that you've been programmed could be various. It could be going to school, listening to your teacher's beliefs and ideologies, your parents, your friends, the people that you hang around with. Anyone who kind of comes into your life and has a say or opinion can influence your beliefs if you let them. And when we're in childhood, we're quite susceptible to taking on other people's ideologies and beliefs, and therefore becoming programmed as we grow up. If you grew up in a household where they had certain beliefs, you are 9 times out of 10 going to adopt those beliefs within your own life. And as you grow up, you're only going to see a reality and experience a reality that's true based off those beliefs. This is also known as conditioning. Now, no, all these people that were in your life as a child didn't mean to program you this way. It wasn't like any malicious intent whatsoever, but it's just that they didn't know any different. They didn't know any better. They didn't understand these concepts, so they just thought what they were doing was right. It doesn't mean what was right is what's best for you. And what I mean by that is you can have these childhood experiences, conditioning, and even events that have happened, as you've gotten older that may have shaped the way that you see life, whether that be bad or good circumstances, but we don't have to allow them to shape our reality, our beliefs. Your internal programming is how you see life, the way you behave, and your identity, okay? And this is really important to understand because this is why everything works the way it works. Which is gonna bring me into my next topic about the subconscious mind. What most people don't know is that we have 2 parts of our brain, the conscious and the subconscious mind. The subconscious is where all of your internal programming lives. Subconscious meaning deeper part of your brain. I actually have this little drawing here to help you understand. This was from a shorts video that I filmed the other day, but we'll use it as an example. So pretty much your conscious mind is in control of 5% of your whole entire brain. Now, when you look at the whole pie, 5% is nothing, really. It only controls your conscious decision makings, your day-to-day thinking, all of that stuff, the very surface level things. Your subconscious is in control of the other 95% of your brain. Now, this is in control of your behaviors, your beliefs, your emotions, your identity. It all relies in here. So now you might be like, well, how do I access this part of my brain? Well, here's what I'm gonna tell you. And just so before we move on, here's that little example. You got TV, parents, school, things that could have influenced you as you grew up. So yeah, anyway, what we need to understand is that the subconscious, meaning deeper part of your brain, is highly susceptible to a lot, but it's susceptible to repetitiveness and emotion, right? Think of emotion like the language that speaks to your subconscious mind. The conscious mind is the gatekeeper, and then we have a gate, and then we have the subconscious mind. So you got conscious mind, gatekeeper, subconscious mind. The conscious mind will only allow what is repeatedly told to it to then surpass through to the subconscious mind. Now, this is important to understand because you have to look at your mental patterns. What do you allow yourself to think on a day-to-day basis? Maybe you catch yourself saying, I really don't like this person. Life's really hard. I hate my job. Going to the gym is hard. Whatever. You catch yourself repeatedly saying that every day. It's going to sneak past the gate and get into your subconscious mind, and then it becomes a belief. And this is important, right? I've touched on this in a couple of videos. A belief, whatever you believe to be true in this life, will be directly externally expressed into your reality, into what you experience, into your life, through whatever scenarios they may look like and circumstances. If we understand this, we can change that to our benefit. So now that you know that your subconscious is in control of 95% of your brain, your identity, your thought patterns, your beliefs, all of that stuff, you need to make it a goal to rewrite your subconscious mind. Now, if you guys are intrigued in the concept of the subconscious mind, you want to learn more about it, I've got a couple book recommendations for you. Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz, The Power of the Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy, and Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. All 3 of those books touch on the subconscious mind quite heavily and will help you get a deeper understanding of it and how you can change and apply techniques to help you get there. Now, I'm going to give you a couple techniques as we're going along, just so that you can start applying these into your life and seeing some change. But what I would highly recommend is to read those books. Understand this concept in detail, because the more that you understand the concept, then the more you can apply the techniques and then change your life. So a technique that I can give you in regards to wanting to change your subconscious mind, rewrite your beliefs, your identity. Step 1, come to a level of awareness within yourself. Understand who you are right now. Is that me, right? Has someone else been programming me that way? Because when you begin to understand that, you begin to understand that you've been operating only from 5%. That's how much that you can consciously operate from. The other 95% all stems from here. TV shows you used to watch, your parents, what they used to tell you, what you used to hear in school. So if you can rewrite that, you can use it to your benefit, because unfortunately, they tell you what they think is best for you, but that doesn't mean they tell you what's meant for you. And what I mean by that is you could have these massive goals and school, your parents, your peers, whoever did their best job in teaching you what they knew. And that's fine. You know, there wasn't malicious intent. It's just the fact that your goals have broadened, your horizons have risen, and you want to go further in life, right? You want to go further in life. So if you want to go further, you have to remove the old limiting beliefs and rewrite new ones that are going to help you get there. So I hope you do that in a second. So before we go any further, I want to touch on the next topic, which is dopamine and motivation. Okay, so now you understand why the brain works in a certain way. Now I want to touch on how motivation works and why it fails. So the way that most people get their dopamine and motivation is through TikTok, junk food, bad vice habits. I'm not going to go through them all. But they get their dopamine, which is also known as quick hit dopamine, from all of these habits and tasks. And what this does is, imagine we have a little dopamine baseline. It drops over time because it is getting repeatedly abused in little things that aren't actually helping you get there. There's long-term dopamine, there's short-term dopamine. A lot of people love short-term dopamine because it's a quick instant gratification hit. Long-term dopamine is you embark on a journey and you know that you're going to get a massive spike of dopamine, but it's going to take a little bit of time. And it's going to take a little bit of effort, but that is what your brain ultimately wants. The problem is your brain is so distracted over here that it's got no way to focus over here. It could be one of these two things, which number one being a man who lacks purpose distracts himself with pleasure. If you do not have a North Star, if you do not have a light at the end of the tunnel, if you do not have a goal that you're looking forward to, you will ultimately fall for the second best, which is quick, shitty dopamine hits that aren't really going to get you that far in life, but they do its job in terms of releasing that chemical, that hormone into your body, into your system. Number two is that people don't understand the motivation equation. And lucky for you, I have it written down right here too. So the motivation equation. Motivation equals expectancy times value. Expectancy times value. So you might be like, what the does that even mean? Well, expectancy pretty much means how likely you believe you're going to achieve the goal. And value means how important the goal is to you. So if people have low expectancy, meaning they have low belief that they can actually achieve the goal, but high value, they won't take action because the goal seems too big and scary. They get overwhelmed, they get stressed. But if it's vice versa, if the expectancy is high, they know they can crush the goal and the value is low, meaning it's not important enough to go after, you're not going to care to go after it. So the aim here is to find a goal that's about equal in both expectancy and value, because that's when you're going to have heaps of motivation and dopamine release to help you get to your goals. But another thing to keep in mind is you can do one of two things, which is raise the expectancy by rewriting your internal programming, which is in your subconscious mind, which we've just discussed about. And you do this by rewriting your old beliefs. So you increase the expectancy, your perception of your ability to achieve something, which helps you go after bigger goals and get more dopamine, get more motivation to go after them. Because you can never outwork your internal programming. I want to make that clear. The second thing you can do is drop the goal, right? And just go for smaller goals. But who wants to do that? We're living one life, so we might as well go big or go home. So that's very easy to do. Just drop the goal. That's the second one. Just drop the value. Make it a less important goal and slowly build conviction over time. That's still possible as well. It's a long-term kind of compound effect. But if you want to do the first one, that's what I'm going to touch on in this video. Okay, the last topic before I give you the solution is electromagnetic fields. Your brain doesn't just think, it broadcasts energy, and this energy creates reality. Very, very important to understand, because a lot of people will look at it and think, yes, it's just positive thinking. Yes, it's just about being optimistic. 100%, I agree with you. But let's try and understand this from another perspective. Imagine that you had a really old car. You got the old car with the radios and you got to tune in the frequency. Maybe it's not that old, maybe it's just old for me. But in order to get to a specific station, you have to tune the frequency. I know I spoke about this example in a prior video, but you want to get to that station. Let's call it Fox. I don't know, whatever you guys listen to. In order to tune it, you had to tune the frequency to get to that station. Think of that as life. If you're in the wrong frequency, the wrong energy, you're not going to be in the right station to get to your results. So imagine taking action from the wrong station. You want to be in the success station, but you're taking action from the poverty, from the failure station. Would you expect to get there? Would you expect to hear that song? No. Of course not. The same concept applies. And the reason that this applies is because of electromagnetic fields. As humans, we are limited in what we are able to perceive in this life. And what I mean by that is due to what we call light fraction. Humans are only capable of seeing up to 0.0035% of all visible light in the electromagnetic field. What does that mean? Well, it means that there's energy everywhere that we just can't see yet. So whatever we call reality, whatever we're looking at, we're only seeing a very small slither of the entire pie, not even 1%. You need to understand that there's energy everywhere. We just can't see it visibly. So don't be stuck in your old thought pattern of thinking, I'll believe it when I see it type of thing, because you can't see it, right? There is another 99 point whatever percent that you cannot see. So for that reason, don't allow ignorance and arrogance to get in the way of your success. And I'm breaking this down in a second. So we know that we have an electromagnetic field. Think of it like an aura around an individual. Now, there is also two more auras within the human body, which is that of the mind. We have an electromagnetic field around our mind and our heart, with the heart being 60 times larger than the brain. The heart is the first thing that's developed when we are an embryo, when we're developing, when we're growing, which is strange considering our brain, our subconscious, takes care of 95% of our body. When we're breathing automatically, when blood's flowing through us, flowing through our heart even, it's the brain that takes care of it. So let's think about this for a second. The heart is the first thing that's developed. Isn't that strange? The heart has always symbolically meant in a lot of literature, scripture, movies, books, everything. The heart stands for love. The heart stands for emotion. And this is important to understand. When we look at the Bible verse that says, as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. It's the same thing. As he thinketh in his heart. As he thinketh in his heart. Let me say that one more time. As he thinketh in his heart. It's not just about thinking thoughts. It's about having the emotional charge behind them. Emotion stands for energy in motion. An emotionally charged thought is the one thing that can get directly into your subconscious mind. So it's not just about positive thinking. It's about backing it with the right emotion. And if you want to know how to go deeper into your subconscious mind so that you can get those emotionally charged thoughts down there, you have to relax. You have to take a step back. You have to be still. You have to be calm. And it's so crazy because every day people are promoting hustle culture, right? Get to your goals by hustling, which is a component. You have to take action, of course, because there are 3 planes of existence: mental, spiritual, physical, but that doesn't mean that it is the only plane. So people are taking action from the wrong mental and spiritual state and therefore not seeing any results. Whereas someone can take less action from the right mental and spiritual plane and see greater results. You see this? You see the discrepancy there? If we carry the right emotionally charged thoughts, if we instill a sense of stillness and calmness and relaxation in our life and allow these thoughts to get impregnated in our subconscious mind, we've already won. We've legitimately already won. But anyways, I'm gonna give you to the breakdown of the actual solution, which I like to call the your brain method. I know, pretty simple and straightforward, but it'll definitely get the job done. Step 1 is awareness. And I know I've spoken about this quite heavily in my past videos, but I can't stress this enough. Awareness will always be your best friend. You don't need more answers from parents, from peers, from business partners, whoever. You don't need more answers from them. You need more answers from you. God resides within you. He has all the answers that you will ever need. So if you go and develop a level of awareness, you can come to all the answers you need to in life. Legitimately, the moment I stopped chasing answers externally, I started looking internally, they all came to me. And the ways that you can develop awareness is just by calming your mind, sitting in stillness, meditating, going for a walk, journaling. Come to understand your thoughts more. I know heaps of people who want to learn wisdom, who want to become wise, they read heaps of books, but they haven't learned themselves. So none of that wisdom is applicable to their own life. It's just knowledge. Knowledge is just information. Wisdom is applied knowledge. Understand yourself before you try and understand everything else, because you are the only person you need to understand in order to win at life. And like I said, meditate, visualize, go on a walk, journal. Understand yourself as much as possible. This will help you break down what you believe to be true, how you perceive life, and how you can actually take action. Okay, now you want to reprogram your internal state. And what I mean by this is reprogram your identity, your beliefs, your thought patterns, and the way that you act. Okay, so what you want to do is set goals for your life. Then you want to ask yourself, who do I need to be in order to achieve those goals? Maybe you need to be confident. You need to be disciplined. You need to be motivated. Just start listing as much as you possibly can. Then you're gonna come back to this separate blank piece of paper and try to become more aware of your current limiting beliefs. Meditate prior to, put on a little bit of music, whatever you feel is gonna get you in the right mood, and sit down and write every single limiting belief you have in your life. Something that is blocking your ability to get to your goals. Something that is blocking you from getting to the version of you that you want to become. This is important because when you can visually see it, you're gonna become aware of it. And that's very different. A lot of times we just let thoughts go in the back of our head, but we don't become aware of it, and therefore they play on us behind the scenes. So we want to become visually aware of it so that we can change that. So once you write all of them down, the next step is writing the complete opposite of that. If you think things are hard, say that they're easy. If you don't like the way you look, say that I feel really good looking, that I feel sexy, or whatever the case is. Because when you start to rewrite those internally, you can now have this little list and you're gonna take it with you, whether that's on your phone, whether you put it on a wall in your room, and you wanna read that every single day. You wanna catch yourself out consciously throughout the day when you might think that limiting belief. Then you wanna rewrite it internally to the one that's going to build you as the person that you wanna become. And if you stick with this and make a manual conscious effort, your thoughts will change, your beliefs will change, your identity will change, and your action will follow through. And that's what's gonna help you build your dream life. I can't stress this enough. It all starts with your identity, which starts with your programming, which starts with your subconscious mind. Now, the last step is dopamine engineering. You could have the best thoughts on the planet. You still need to take action. So if you're getting your dopamine from places that currently don't serve you, TikTok, binge eating, any other vices, to be honest, drinking, drugs, whatever, you need to substitute those things for actions that are going to improve your life. And don't go too crazy at the start. I see a lot of people, they'll just go 2 hours of TikTok to 2 hours of a gym session, the hardest gym session of their life. They feel like throwing up. No, your brain don't love that, okay? You want to start with consistency over intensity. Instead of 10 minutes of TikTok, let's say 10 minutes of reading. Something small. Start so small you can't miss. And then with time, that habit becomes automatic, and then you can increase the goalposts. You can make them more intense. Consistency will always beat intensity. Start and get consistent, build those automatic habits before you start building on them. And start getting your dopamine from places that actually serve you. Because when you do this, your brain's got to automatically crave success. And that's when you see people online and we think to ourselves, how did they get that? How did they go there? How did they do that much work? It's not because they forced themselves to do it. It's because they've swapped out their dopamine and gotten all of their dopamine from a task that actually serves them. They enjoy doing the work. They enjoy going to the gym. They enjoy eating healthy. So if you switch where you're getting your dopamine from and you rewrite your beliefs, you're going to become like a superhuman towards your goals. So listen, your brain isn't broken. It's just currently running on old software. But awareness will rewrite the map and action will rewrite the code. So now you should know exactly how to reprogram your life with clarity, focus, and freedom. Now, I hope you found this video valuable. If you did, feel free to subscribe. If you have any questions whatsoever, please drop them in the comments and I will answer them as soon as possible. But anyways, I'll see you in the next one.